Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar today, Safe Made Simple, How Rally Brings Visibility and Alignment to Public Sector Strategy. My name is Mike Lentini. I'm one of our product marketing managers here at Broadcom, focusing on our Rally product. Today, I'm fortunate to be joined by Adam Mattis and Charlene Cuenca. Sorry, Charlene. So I'm really excited to have both of you on today. So just a couple quick logistics items to go through. If you are seeing our presentation and it looks a little blurry, make sure you adjust your settings in the lower right-hand corner for your playback quality. Just put it in the highest definition possible. If you have any questions for either of our speakers, there's a questions and box right below the presentation window. You can put your questions in there and we'll do our best to address them as we go or at the end. And if not, we will follow up with you directly. You'll also see a rate this option, and we'd really love any feedback that you have on today's presentation. With all of that being said, Charlene, I'll throw it over to you.
All righty. Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Safe Made Simple, How Rally Brings Visibility and Alignment to the Public Sector Strategy. Adam Mattis and I will be presenting. So just a quick round of introductions before we get kicked off here. I'm Charlene Cuenca. I'm a principal consultant and SAFE fellow in SPCT with Icon Agility Services. I'm also a Rally certified professional. So I've helped with several Rally implementations. We're an expert advantage partner with Broadcom and also a scaled Agile Platinum SPCT partner. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Adam to introduce himself and we will get going. Adam, over to you.
Thanks, Charlene. Man, it's crazy to think how many years we've all been hanging out and doing this stuff together. I look at all the bling below your name, and it's been a crazy decade or so. So hi, everyone. My name is Adam Mattis. I oversee the technology partnerships and advisory group here at Scaled Agile. I like to say I'm a recovering consultant. I spent a lot of years in the field with Accenture and Davispace and others, helping great clients achieve wins with SAFE and with other solutions. So it's really cool to be on this side of things now and building tools that you all can use and that people like Charlene can use to help enterprises and government continue to gain wins in our ever-evolving world of just a fast-paced environment. Go ahead and hit next, Charlene. So let's dive into this. SAFE in government's not new, right? I mean, for as long as we've been experimenting with SAFE, we've been using SAFE in government. I think my very first government engagement, my very first was with the Social Security Administration back in 2009. But my first SAFE in government experiments were with the Department of Energy way back, I want to say in 2014. And what was interesting about them at that time was they were a smaller agency and they needed to figure out how to do more with less. So the use case was pretty evident, right? Let's figure out how to maximize what you have. Let's figure out how to eliminate waste in your system, provide visibility to all the work so that you can make sure that you're always delivering the highest value, smallest items at any given point in time. So if you fast forward to 2024, right, it's a really interesting time in government. And it's kind of cool because on any given day of the week, you can almost see new testimonials, new case studies about how government agencies are helping their constituents win, how we're helping military win by leveraging SAFE in this context. And the reason why now, why SAFE, why Agile, why now, is because the world is evolving faster now than it ever has been. And I like to also say that today is the slowest pace at which change will take place from now until the end of time. So if you're dizzy today, enjoy it while you can because tomorrow's gonna be even faster. And the things that we see that are driving these changes in government is that supply chain is moving faster. We have a bigger need to get the right things to the right people at the right time now more than ever. The idea of a responsive supply chain. We understand through the pandemic the consequence of not being able to rapidly analyze data and respond to those big issues, those big challenges as quick as we would like. We understand the impacts of AI and everything else. And oh, by the way, as consumers, we're used to an elegant digital experience, and we have that same expectation of our government agencies. So if you're a constituent interacting with an agency, we have a certain level of expectation for usability, for customer experience. If we're on the receiving end of government services, we expect our applications to be processed faster. We expect questions to be answered faster. All of these things that we've experienced in the commercial world are now very relevant to government. And oh, by the way, in an ever-evolving and competitive global landscape, we need to make sure that our military and our defense capabilities are not just keeping up, but are leading the way to make sure that the constituents that the agencies serve are well protected and well served. So, while we talk about the tipping point in business, and we all know that case well, the tipping point in government is here. And the consequence of not executing change well in this space is quite honestly much more dire than what we've seen in the commercial space, right? We all depend on government for our livelihood, for our safety, for our security, for the basic services we need to live. So we need to make sure that government is well positioned to respond to the rapid pace of change in our world. Go ahead and hit next. So in SAFE, we've always considered the government context. And for as many times in my career as I've heard, hey, we're this business and we're unique, special, and different because, and the reality that is, largely untrue, right? Most enterprises have different acronyms, different names, but the challenges and the solutions to those challenges are largely the same, right? It's get closer to your customers, be more focused on value, decentralized decision-making. What's different is government is actually quite different in how it operates. Though the solutions to those challenges are still largely the same, the path that it takes to deploy those changes is different. We've done a lot of work to consider that and how we recommend agencies and those who consult agencies approach solutioning with SAFE. And actually, I'm sitting in a strategy meeting right now as I sit here and talk to you, and we're talking about how we can better serve government, with more relevant conversations and leading SAFE and implementing SAFE, how we can better translate the terminology and the framework to make sense in a government context, not just for US federal, but state, local, and international as well. So we recognize, again, that the problem to be solved in government is not small, it's not going away, and the need to solve it is more dire now than ever. And we want to help government, we want to lead the way in helping government address these challenges head on. So government's always been a first-class citizen, but I can tell you again, sitting in these strategy sessions this week, you're going to see a lot more in 2025 that is directly focused on how we can best serve government to best serve their constituents and fellow agencies. So this is a major priority for us. And as we seek to simplify and streamline and make the content easier to consume, again, there's going to be a government perspective for all that we do directly from this point forward. Go ahead and hit next. I think the good news is, 10 or 12 years into this SAFE journey, we're no longer just trying to figure out how to apply things to context. We've got a lot of great partners. We've had a lot of good, very direct collaborative interactions with agencies. We've worked a lot with some three-letter law enforcement agencies to best understand how they apply SAFE in their context, and also to evolve how we make suggestions and offerings to agencies such as that. We've gone on to do a lot of work to help agencies win, like NASA. I think you've all seen or maybe you've seen the recent announcements from Army PEO EIS and their leveraging of SAFE to gain wins in their executive offices, Social Security Administration, and so many others. The idea is this, though, again, the problems that we seek to solve in government may be different, though the acronyms are different, though the hierarchy is also very different, right? I mean, one of the biggest things you see in government that is different is when laws are passed down, there's no conversation back to the customer to say, well, hey, we know you said you want the law to be this, but did you ever think of that, right? So the things that we must execute in a government context are very much not open for conversation, but how we seek to satisfy those requirements is still very much in the realm of an agile mindset. How can we best solve this problem given the constraints that we have? So again, a lot of the lessons that we've learned through some very successful interactions with government contractors as well as agencies are now at the forefront. So in all of the recommendations that we make and all of the guidance that we provide, it comes from very real lessons learned. And that feedback loop is, of course, never closed. The more that we do with government, the more that we learn, the more the content will evolve, right? And we've done a lot to make sure that we're partnering with technology providers that are RAMP certified, such as Broadcom and the folks that we're talking about today, so that all of the guidance that we provide we know that it can be solutioned in a tooling set that is well suited to support the unique constraints of government compartmentalization and security standards. And with that, Charlene, I think I'll pass the ball to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam, for that wonderful overview of SAFE in the government. As we're talking today about how Rally can help simplify your SAFE implementation, I'm going to cover first a little bit more about Rally and introduce the tool to you. And then after that, I'm going to give us a highlight reel tour demo of some of the functionality in the tool to show you how it truly can simplify your SAFE implementation. Then we'll have a round of Q&A if anyone has any questions, and then we'll summarize for the day. So thank you so much, Adam. So as we start thinking about the future, right, and the challenges that we're trying to solve, no matter what type of entity we are, whether we're a public entity like the government space or the public sector, we also have unique challenges that are common amongst everyone. And one of the main challenges that I see, having been heavily involved in the SAFE space and helping organizations achieve business agility for many years, some of the themes are the same, right? The challenges are very similar. As you can see here in this infographic, one of the main challenges is 80% of companies report that they still have organizational silos. And that starts to lead to issues with reduced customer value and product return on investment. And we can correlate that directly to those silos. I can't think of a larger form of waste than that. So we're trying to think about how we can start to, leverage some different ways to help us overcome those challenges. One of them, and this is kind of touching to the value ops offering by Broadcom, which includes Rally that we're talking about today, is leveraging value stream management. As you can see here, 84% of companies will adopt or expand their use of value stream management by 2024. And 92% of those organizations believe value stream management will optimize their product lifecycle and delivery processes. We already have some early adopters. 55% of companies, that's over half, are already implementing value stream management initiatives. 95% of those have experienced improvements in visibility, efficiency, and alignment. So whether we're talking public sector or other organizations, these challenges exist no matter what type of industry you're in, and we can leverage value stream management to help us get over the hurdle and start to improve those areas in visibility, efficiency, and alignment. Now, Rally is part of the value ops offering. This is an enterprise agile planning type tool. It's built as the foundation for agile at scale and value stream management, as well as digital evolution. And as you can see here, you're going to see shortly when I give you the highlight reel of Rally, it helps us increase visibility. This is something that helps everyone because this allows us to see all the work that's happening in the organization. So we have full transparency of what teams and teams of teams and programs and portfolios are doing. That's going to help us reduce silos. And data drives decision-making. So not only do we have visibility of work and value delivery, we also have visibility of the data that can help us make the right decisions on prioritizations and progress, and also visibility into things that are going to happen into the future, right? We're also able to create alignment. So by rallying around the different pieces of our strategy, we can measure that using objectives and key results. That helps us foster collaboration because we know that whatever we're working on is aligned to those strategic areas, and we can measure the progress of those. Our goal, though, is to optimize efficiency. We want to be more effective and efficient with what we have. By optimizing efficiency, leveraging tools like Rally, we can accelerate our transformation, improve our productivity, and have the data to help us continuously improve. Many companies today are already leveraging the tool and getting a lot of value across these three areas: visibility, alignment, and efficiency. Rally is offered as a cloud-based or cloud-hosted tool, but it also has an on-premise edition as well. With Rally Anywhere, our SaaS-based offering has a 99.9% uptime, and that allows us to feel secure that we're always able to continue moving forward. It's FedRAMP authorized, so it's secure and scalable for everyone. And we do have an on-premise version of Rally. We want to make sure that you have full control over your data. So this is a perfect solution for those organizations with sensitive data or data sovereignty requirements. I work for Icon Agility. Icon Agility has been in business for over 32 years. And Icon Agility also has a facility clearance as well as cleared professionals that can help you with your Rally implementation. Now, let's talk more about visibility, alignment, and efficiency, right? That's really what we leverage Rally for. It's a great tool at connecting strategy to execution. It's not just about delivery and delivery teams and agile teams, but it really unites the organization, whether you're a government entity or a private organization or a publicly traded company. The themes are quite the same. We want to increase our visibility, we want to get better alignment, and we want to be more efficient and effective with what we have. With visibility, Rally's going to help us with enhanced decision making. With that visibility, it's going to improve trust because we can see everything, right? And it'll help us minimize risk because the data doesn't lie, right? We can see the data in the tool with its reporting capabilities, as well as custom dashboards that you're going to see in just a moment. And that visibility is going to lead to alignment. Remember, we're trying to align strategy to execution. Every organization has a fixed amount of capacity and an unlimited source of things that we could be focused on. So we want to be able to match that, and that's what Rally can help us with. By truly aligning business and delivery, this will break down those silos that we talked about earlier and reduce friction with competing parts of the organization, minimizing that so that we're all working together in a collaborative and fruitful environment where we're relentlessly improving. This is going to lead to efficiency. We want to eliminate waste, right? The last thing we want to do is work on things that are not going to be valuable for our customers, whether it be, a military soldier or a federal government agency. We want to eliminate waste. We want to get value out to our customers as soon as possible. And we want to make sure we're driving towards continuous improvement by leveraging data to help us with those. Let's take a look at some companies that are already using Rally today and getting significant value across these areas. One of them is the Hartford. You can see their quote here. Feature lead time and time to market are down. Predictability is up, and our business partners have confidence in their planning decisions and ability to deliver. With Unum, we're heavily invested in dashboards. They're great levelers of communication for us, removing ambiguity. Data drives all of our decisions. The quality of our conversations has changed. We established a data-driven approach and transparency that hadn't been there before. We were able to execute and demonstrate gains in availability and agility, which helped us build confidence with senior leadership. And that's from Cox Automotive. So as you can see here, Rally is a tool that can help with all three of these areas. What I'd like to do next is give us just a quick highlight reel tour of some of those components within Rally that can help simplify your SAFE implementation. Now, Rally, the tool from Broadcom, is something that has been around for quite a long time. And many organizations, as you can see from the three examples on the previous slide, have gained lots of value from it. Rally is also competitively priced, so there's nothing, stopping you from using the tool. But before we talk more about that, let's just show you some pieces of functionality from Rally to truly show you how it can help with your government implementation. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the demo, and we will get that going here. So we've got a few little pieces of orientation first before we move further. Just talking a little bit about how the layout of Rally is before we get into some of the functionality. First, Rally is a tool that's organized by workspace. So you can have multiple workspaces that might align to different parts of your organization. So we've got a couple of workspaces we're going to use in the demo today. The other key important piece to understand about Rally, and also how this is kind of the starting point for organizing and simplifying your SAFE transformation, is that Rally, if you can figure it out of the box to align around your current structure with how you're delivering value, it makes it very easy to roll up data. And I'll show you that when we look at some of the dashboards a little bit later on in this demo. But when we take a look at this view here, this is showing us what we call projects. And projects in Rally are simply folders. So as you can see here, at the top level of the organization, we have public services, right? Which many government entities, we may be working in some type of public service space. Underneath here, we've got the various value streams that are delivering value within public services, like the citizen engagement value stream, and then another value stream here for transportation and infrastructure. Now, once you go underneath the value stream, there may be several solutions that are part of that citizen engagement value stream. For example, we have a citizen services application, and underneath that project folder, we've got a digital engagement core Agile release train. Drilling down a little bit further, we can start to see the teams that are part of that Agile release train, such as the core team, mobile team, and security team, and so forth. So citizen services application has more than one art. So we see a platform art here, and we also have another shared services art. So as you can see here, if organizing these folders in this hierarchical structure will help you with the reporting and the data roll-up in Rally and help simplify your implementation. Now, how do we navigate in the tool? Just really quickly here, the menu bar up at the top is the easiest way to navigate through Rally. We're going to start off talking about the portfolio and go top down. We'll talk about strategic themes and epics and how that's organized. And then in the plan and track menu items, these are how teams can manage the flow of value in their iterations or sprints. So let's start with the portfolio. When we look at the portfolio items, we have a backlog structure mimicking a typical SAFe backlog structure. So usually at the top of a backlog structure, we've got strategic themes that start off with defining the strategy. Those we can tie objectives and key results to. Then we also, underneath strategic themes, we have epics. And then under epics, we have features. Under features, we have stories, and those are going to be managed in the plan and track menu items. So that typical backlog structure is very easy to set up when you first start with Rally. Now I'm going to show you the grid here, the grid view that shows an example strategic theme so that we can see the data underneath here. So strategic theme number 2, monetary transfers. When you drill down here, you can start to see the epics underneath here, and you can drill even further down by continuing to click on the carrots. So if I look at epic 27, I can drill down and see the features underneath it. And then if the feature had stories underneath it, I could keep drilling down all the way to the story level. Now, once I show you one of these records, the detail screen of one of these portfolio items looks similar, regardless of whether we're looking at a strategic theme, epic, or a feature. Some of the attributes may be a little bit different, but the screen layout looks pretty much the same. You've got tabs at the top. So we've got detail about the record, about this particular strategic theme with monetary transfers. We can see the children underneath there by clicking on that tab. There's an area for discussions where you can record different discussions that you've had about this backlog item. There's charts you can look at for the progress of the strategic theme, as well as dependencies, risks, and this one does have an objective. So we could take a look at this particular objective and see that there is a specific objective for this strategic theme, and you could drill down into that. Every record also has a revision history, so you can always see the detail about who changed it, when it was changed, and what field was changed. All right, so that is an example detail record, and that would be strategic themes. We also have an epic view as well. When we take a look at that, the screen looks similar. It's just filtered on epics. And another screen that's of interest here for folks as we think about how can this help simplify my public sector or my organization's implementation? Well, we really want the ability to look forward in time, to be able to take a look at where we're trying to go. So with the release planning functionality, we get to have a roadmap view of where we're going for a particular planning interval. So this release planning page helps us take a look at a rolling roadmap of 3 PIs. We can take a look at what's in our backlog, and we can take a look at features we have lined up for the current PI, as well as the next 2 PIs, and how loaded we are based on our velocity for that particular PI. So that's useful with helping us look ahead and start to identify what are some of the things that we could be focusing on in the future to achieve our strategy. Capacity is also important. Like I said before, every organization has limited capacity, right? So we want to be able to be sure that we're not overloading our teams, and we have the ability in Rally to actually do some what-ifing with our features. So if we're looking ahead to a future PI, we can have a high-level understanding of what the capacity is for a given team, as well as for the entire art. Like in this case, we're looking at a platform art. So say we had a list of features, we can start to allocate them to one or more teams, and based on their velocity, we can identify if potentially they're overloaded, or if there's any other kind of challenges we may run into. All right, so we do have that ability. And once you've kind of divvy these features up, you can actually make it the source of record by publishing this capacity plan so that we can update the tool. So that's capacity planning. Another view that's useful as well to help us kind of look at how are we progressing is to take a look at a timeline view. So this timeline view is based on your specific portfolio item, and we have this at the strategic theme level, or you can go a little bit further down if you want it to be at the epic and below, or even the feature level. But I'm keeping it at the strategic theme level so that we can see the full drill down from the strategic theme. And by expanding this timeline view, you can actually see the epics underneath it and drill down even further to see the features underneath the epic. So here you're getting very fast visual cues where something may have started late. You can also see progress in terms of percent. Many of the screens in the tool, if you hover over it, you're going to get more detailed information about the estimate, about how many items are underneath it, and the progress that's being made there, as well as where are we in current time. In this timeline, you can collapse it, you can zoom in, so it's very fully capable of giving a lot of visibility on the progress that we're making. I mentioned objectives and key results too. We have the ability to track objectives and key results at many different levels, but usually we keep this at the strategy level. So let's take a look at some of the objectives and key results that we already have that are part of the citizen engagement value stream. Here we can see this objective here. We've got a quick description. You can see the key results that are associated with it, right? And we can see within each key result, for the backlog items that are associated with it, what progress we're making against that key result. So we can tie backlog items directly to it. That's going to be labeled as associated work. And by looking at this view here in the key results, at any given point in time, we can see the progress of the backlog items against that key result to show that we are making forward progress. If we want to see those specific backlog items, we can click on associated work and further drill down as needed. All right, so those are objectives and key results. One of the other noteworthy points here too is we can give it a confidence score of our ability to achieve this. As needed, we can track this against investments. And for our Agile release trains, another useful view is looking at release tracking. So for any given planning interval, we can take a look at the different items that are part of that planning interval and see the progress that's being made in that view. This is a very useful view. We can see all of the sprints that are part of that given planning interval. We can see all of the teams that are part of that specific Agile release train. So if I just kind of hone in on the digital engagement art, and we're just looking at the PIs for that specific Agile release train as well as the features for this specific PI. And we could take a look at the features that are planned and the progress that's being made. So looking at feature 4 here, if I click on feature 4 here, we can see it highlighted here. If there were more than one team working on that feature, then we can see all of the teams that are taking part in the delivery of that feature. And then you can see the progress that's being made. So very useful view. You can also see dependencies in this view as well. So when we take a look at this, if you see this icon here, I believe this is a Sigma icon. If you click on it, it's going to give you more information about the feature, including any dependencies. So we can see here that we've got a couple of dependencies that are part of this. You're also able to see any bugs or defects, like this one right here. It's got defects associated with it. And you can see approximately when a specific feature is going to be completed once it gets highlighted here. So there's work being done in this sprint, sprint 2, 3, and sprint 5. All right. Another useful view is when we talk about increasing visibility, we want to be able to see where everything is at a given point in time. So if I'm looking once again for this specific art and looking at the features that it's progressing through its PI cycles, we can take a look here and see a standard Kanban view with the different states. We can see how many items are in each. We can set WIP limits for specific states. And we can also see exit agreements, right? To be able to flow value through, we want to make sure we understand what items need to be, what attributes need to be populated on the feature before we can move it to the next state. So here we can see the exit agreements and what we need to complete on the feature before we can pull it into the next state. All right, so that's a highlight reel of the portfolio items and some of the things that you can do there. Now let's take a look at how a team can manage specific backlog items as they progress through their 2-week iterations, if that's the cadence that they use. First, teams need to be planning. They need to plan what they're going to work on. And in Rally, we have the ability to set time boxes. So we have 3 main time boxes in Rally. The first one are iterations, so also known as sprints. And these can be relabeled, by the way. So if you'd prefer to call them sprints, we can relabel them. But out of the box, it's called iterations. And then we also have release. Release in Rally is really about our PI cycles. And the milestones represent any key major event, like a solution release. It could be a demo that we're trying to do, maybe at a conference, but those are major milestones. So everything is based on those time boxes. But as the team starts working, it works from a backlog. So we can look at the backlog view here. And if I filter on a specific team, we can just see the stories for that one team. So I have the core team here. You can see all of the stories. The stories represent any item that has not been assigned to a time box yet. If I look at the user stories for this specific team, I can see all of their stories. And I have the ability to filter what I see here. So you can filter it for a specific iteration or sprint. You can filter it for many different types of attributes. And you can also customize the columns at the top. The one that teams find very useful is the team planning functionality. So team planning would allow a team to plan a specific PI. So what you see in this view are all the items that are on the team's backlog. So they're part of the backlog, but for that one team, but they haven't been assigned to a particular sprint or PI yet. And then on the right-hand side here for the core team plan, we've got each of the sprints in the iteration, as well as stories that have been assigned to the PI, but not necessarily a sprint. So we can easily start to drag and drop items into the plan. And this bar will update to let us know if they've gone over their capacity, right? We can see how loaded they are and how much more capacity that they have to take on more items. So this is a nice view to help us with PI planning and planning all the sprints for the particular PI. So once we've done a plan, we can actually go ahead and start tracking it now. So we take a look at the track tab for one team. This gives them the quick ability to be able to see some of the items that are part of the sprint. We could see the state. We can see if it's blocked, as well as any plan estimates and the progress of that. You also have the ability to view charts where you can see the different states associated with the user stories for that given team, and also see how much time is left in the iteration. This one's already completed, so that's why it's showing 0 days left. All right. So from a quality perspective, Rally does also have the ability to manage aspects of quality for your development, such as defects, defect suites, and test cases, and overall quality management. But one of the things I want to make sure that we take time to look at is the fact that we have really good data capabilities in the tool. So when we take a look at another team's view here, we can take a look at a dashboard. So I'm going to take us to our core metrics dashboard here. So core metrics, I've set up a dashboard to let us look at one team, and I can show you how this data can roll up and help make your safe implementation easier. So as we're working to deliver value for our end customers and stakeholders, data is going to help us with decision making. So this has a specific set of metrics that are the usual suspect of metrics that teams would use, right? We've got a velocity chart, we've got throughput, defect trend, cumulative flow, release and iteration burn down. And as you can see here, it gives us a 10 iteration view. So we can start to see what our normalized velocity is and how we can progress, how we're progressing through, so that we can use this for future planning. The nice thing about this is this gives you a view from a team perspective, but I may want to look at this from a whole art perspective. So this particular team is part of a larger train, but I would just want an art level roll up, right? Maybe I'm looking to estimate some epics. So I'd like to see the velocity of the art. So I can easily, just by switching the folder view here, to be able to look at the art level, it's going to aggregate all of the team data underneath it that belongs to that art. And I can easily see in this dashboard what the normalized velocity is for that specific train. That applies for all the other metrics too: throughput, release defect trend, etc. And I can even go higher. If I wanted to get a value stream view, a portfolio view, or even enterprise view, all I need to do is switch the folder. It's very easy. So we can keep drilling up so that we can see a higher and higher level in the organization. And we can even see this across multiple portfolios if we want to. All right. So that's an example of some of the metrics. Another useful place to get some data is the Rally Insights. So if you go to the reports menu, you get some out-of-the-box reports that come with the tool. Insights gives you even more information. So there are many organizations that use Rally. This top bar right here with the different dials on it is showing how we compare against this index that's averaged from, think about 160,000 anonymous teams, right? Where does team best fall into that? So right now you can see we're overall in the 60th percentile. From a productivity perspective, based on the data we have compared to those other teams that are part of this index, we're in the 96th percentile, which is very good. You can see that with predictability, 65th percentile, responsiveness, 76th, and then quality probably could use a little bit of work. But below here, you've also got a different view of throughput and velocity. So remember, when I started this demo, I said Rally was set up based on workspace. So this particular view of throughput, unlike the dashboard I showed you before, is showing you how the work items compare against the workspace average, right? So all work items against the workspace average. So you got throughput, velocity, variability of throughput, variability of velocity, time and process, and lots of other useful data. Also in the insights area, you've got flow metrics that we could look at. And in SAFE, we have 6 primary flow metrics, and some of them are shown here. So looking at throughput, work in progress, flow efficiency, overall lead time, and metrics like that are also going to give you some great information to help your teams mature. There's also a dependencies area underneath here that gives you quick access to all the different dependencies for that specific team. So you can drill down into team best current set of dependencies very easily from this area. All right. And then health is going to show you comparison of different work items, how many items you were able to complete and how many items may have moved, how many items were also unplanned that you included in your particular sprint. Okay, so that's just your highlight reel tour of Rally. I just wanted to give you a taste of some of the different things it can do. But as you can see, just by setting up your organization structure that's supporting your value delivery in this kind of hierarchical format, we can help make your SAFE implementation much more simple. And the data roll up is going to be so much more easy to do here so that we can see things not only at the team level, but also the art level, value stream level, portfolio level, and even enterprise level, depending on the view that you're trying to get. All right. So with that, I'm going to see if anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Charlene. That was an awesome walkthrough, and we did get some feedback as you were kind of going through Rally, just noting that they had to drop for a meeting, but they just loved seeing how closely Rally aligns to support SAFE. And I think, like you just mentioned, the product out of the box does support SAFE fairly well, but when you work with someone like Icon Agility, you can really make sure that your organization aligns perfectly with them. But we also did just get a question, what criteria is used to measure quality in Rally? And real quick, Charlene, just before you answer that question, just to anyone else on the line, if you do have any questions, there is that questions box right below the presentation window. Please feel free to put those in there as Charlene and I will start going through those now.
Yeah, there's lots of different measures in there, but just from my experience implementing the tool, one of the defect metrics that I like to use is defect trend. So if I just go back really quickly to the dashboard that I had open for Team Best, this is the release defect trend here. And remember, release it means PI. It's for the planning interval. So we're looking at a given PI cycle. For this particular defect trend, you've got how many items have been opened with the red, how many have been closed with the green is good, and then how many are still open. So total active is the black line. With defect trend, you can easily see if you're starting to converge and starting to close those out at a normal pace. But there are many other defect reports you can get here too. I didn't dive into this. I could just touch on it really quickly, but this custom page that you're looking at here for core metrics is something that I made using Rally's app catalog. So this is another nice feature or functionality within Rally, is that there are several apps that you could take a look at, for things that you care about. So if I wanted to look specifically at quality apps, I can get all kinds of different types of widgets to add to this page. So you got defect summary matrix, defect trend, which I already showed you, defects by priority. You can also look at it by state, and so much more. So just depends on what you'd like to look at. And you can also make custom reports in here too. I could go so much further and deep into this, but I know we're limited on time. So hopefully that answered your question. Mike, did you have anything to add, or are there any other questions?
Still giving it another minute. I know we have a couple of other things that we wanted to talk through in terms of our next webinar that we're doing together as well.
Yeah, let me go ahead and summarize what we have here, and we'll be happy to take some more questions before the time box elapses. So we have the ability to help you get started. So if you like what you saw here today and you'd like a much deeper demo, maybe with some specific examples related to your SAFE implementation, please feel free to scan this QR code. We will also send out a copy of this deck. You can contact Stella O'Brien at Icon Agility Services at the email you see here, or just simply click on scan the QR code. Also, if you have any questions about Scaled Agile from Scaled Agile related to the government space, government@scaledagile.com is your contact info. So please contact Icon today to schedule a demo if you'd like to learn more. Now, upcoming in Q1, we have another webinar in case you'd like to dial in for that, Achieving Total Agility, Bridging the Strategy to Execution Gap with Rally. This will be presented by Matt Gorpsky and James Gaines. You can scan the QR code to record that date. And once again, you will get a copy of this deck following this webinar.
Yep. And that webinar is also posted below our presentation window. If you go back out to our BrightTalk channel page, you'll see all our webinars that we had, including a couple roadmaps, and then this webinar back in March. And we have a few more in between then as well. Charlene, we did just get a couple more questions coming in, so I'll start kind of going through those with you. What are the plans to revamp the UX? What we're seeing? So regarding our UX, I know Charlene was in our standard or our standard view. We also have the personalized navigation view, which maybe feels a little bit more modern to you. It's really personal preference, but if you want to take that and see that other view, you can reach out to Charlene, myself, and we can kind of give you a demo of what the other views that we have available are. We got a question around how to measure the arc velocity in Rally, considering that story points use by the teams are not normalized. 2 story points for team 1 could mean something differently than 2 story points for team 2.
Yeah. So story points for a team are just for that team, right? So we don't necessarily want to say that 1 point by team best is necessarily going to mean the same for a different team. As long as they're predictable within their velocity, that's all that matters, right? That's all this is. That's what this is meant to measure. And when you go up to the art level, like I showed you in the core metrics dashboard, it's going to aggregate it for all the teams on the train. So we don't necessarily need it to be exactly the same team by team, as long as they have a common starting point. When when you started your safe implementation and launched your agile release train, teams can have different, they can start to veer a little bit in terms of what 3 points means for team A versus what 3 points means for team B. That is totally okay, as long as they're becoming predictable over time.
And then how would Rally or other tools address the traditional government desire for an integrated master schedule that is often required by oversight and or leadership with a more safe approach?
Yeah. So one of the things in the value ops offering, Rally is one of the tools within there, but what I didn't mention before is value ops is actually it's got clarity, for PPM, portfolio management. It has Rally right there that helps connect the portfolio to the delivery of the teams. And then it also includes a tool called Connect All, which is something that is there, just like the name implies, to connect all the tools, different tools in your ecosystem. So by leveraging something like Connect All, you would be able to, for instance, maybe you're using a specific tool for your continuous delivery pipeline and you want to be able to measure the efficiency of the flow through that. We can integrate through Connect All to those different tools. And Mike, maybe you have a little bit more information too about any potential connection to an integrated master schedule, but I know that Connect All has the ability to connect to any of other existing tools that are part of your tooling ecosystem.
Exactly, Charlene. Yeah, it has the flexibility to connect any third-party data, so we can tell specifically which ones you're looking for and make sure that it is supported. But through our universal adapter, there's virtually any third-party tool can be pulled into our value ops solution set. So kind of like what Charlene was saying, you can pull that data through Rally and up to the clarity level, or vice versa, from higher than clarity back down into clarity and Rally for your development life cycle. So we can definitely talk about that if you want to drill into specifics. So with that, Charlene, that is all our questions. I can turn it back over to you if you want to have any closing thoughts, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who was able to join us. We really appreciate your time. If anyone has any follow-up questions, Charlene's available, I'm available, I know Adam's available too. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We'd be more than happy to support you and talk about anything that you saw here today.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. Have a great day.
Thanks, Charlene.
Thank you.
Good one.